do a kind of quick guideline tutorial on makeup to wear if you tend to wear glasses. This was a request from my cousin Umbreen. So Umbreen, I hope you find this useful, and I hope you find it helpful. I hope that everybody can really find this useful, but the best thing about wearing glasses is that you don't necessarily need a lot of makeup. So I don't typically wear eye makeup when I'm wearing my glasses, but I do know a lot of people that wear reading glasses, so they take them off and on periodically throughout the day. So this is definitely a good option for that, have reading glasses. It doesn't really matter. This helps really enhance the eye. You don't need a lot of makeup. Very, very easy. But before I get started, there are a few guidelines that I have when you are wearing glasses. So my first one is definitely make sure that you pluck your eyebrows. I know this sounds ridiculously simple, but if you notice as soon as I put on these glasses, these are my glasses, that my eyebrows stick out. So just like your glasses frame your face, your eyebrows frame your glasses. So you want to make sure that you are keeping those very clean, plucking, waxing, whatever you need to do. Please keep them under control, because I'm telling you, you don't believe it, but as soon as you put on your glasses, people notice your eyebrows. And I personally think people notice eyebrows anyway, regardless if you're wearing glasses or not. So always my first suggestion is to pluck the eyebrows, wax the eyebrows. Please, 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 this is number one, numero uno in suggestions. If you don't do anything else, really pluck your eyebrows. I can't stress that enough. So make sure that you are focusing on your arch. If you are unfamiliar with kind of how to set your arch, either go get them done, or you can take a pencil, something really thin. Let me grab this, and you can line it up. So where your eyebrow would start would be right at the tip of your nose and your eye. Where your arch would start, you would tilt the the stick or the pen, and where the outer corner of your actual iris and your nose, that's where your arch would start, and then it would end at the outer part of the eye. So kind of a good guideline. But if you are too scared to do that, please, please go get them done. It really, really makes a huge difference. I think that you will feel a lot better. I know that I've had glasses for over 17 years now. I typically wear contacts all the time now, but there are times where I do want to wear my glasses. So that is where people will focus the most. So number one thing is to make sure you are grooming your eyebrows. I also suggest getting kind of like a brush like this that I just used earlier. This kind of helps brush them into place and kind of get a good arch. My second suggestion is nothing too metallic-y on the eye and on the cheek. I know this sounds crazy, but your eyes do need to breathe. They are getting blocked by your glass and your glasses. So if you do tend to notice this, and I know that you probably do if you do wear glasses, if you wear anything too shimmery or too shiny, you'll notice as the day goes on, it gets kind of greasy, kind of wipe off. And that's because I think that your eye moisture is actually hitting the glass of the eye, of your eyeglasses, and then bouncing back off. So it makes you almost look like you've been out in the sun all day and you've been sweating. So I really suggest sticking to something really matte and light. And maybe a little bit of a shimmer, but I wouldn't really push it unless you're kind of going out, maybe a small glitter, really fine glitter. That being said, my next suggestion is to wear a foundation that is a mattifying foundation. So I typically tend to use this MAC Studio Sculpt, and I love it because it also has an SPF in it, so this is really great when you're out in the sun. Doesn't make you feel really oily. I tend to have oily skin, so this is a good option for that. And then using a powder that is a mattifying powder as well. That's not right. Let me grab this. This is MAC Studio Fix. And I don't know if you can kind of tell, but you can see it doesn't have any kind of shimmer to it. I know that MAC also makes a blot powder that doesn't really have a color. It kind of goes on a basic idea of what your skin range is. So I think I'd be like medium dark, and it's good for blotting the nose. If you can't find something like that, or you don't typically like using powders, I would use a blotting paper, and those are like those little white sheets that attract excess oil around your nose. I know that e.l.f. makes them. You can find those at Target or online, and they're only like $1. So I think at the most anything in that line is only like $3 anyway. So I really suggest having something like that, just because if you have frames like I do that have kind of the plastic in them and they don't have that rubber, your glasses are going to slide right down your nose, and then you're going to be able to tell a line over you have your makeup and you don't. Especially kind of in here, I have natural dark circles anyway, and this gets really dark into these areas. So if I wear my glasses, I'll show you, you're going to be able to see they're sitting right in the area, so as they slide down, this will get darker. So you want to make sure you kind of have something that will pick up that excess oil. Also, number 5, I wouldn't wear anything too dark on the eye. I would stick to something more brown, more neutral tones. Even if you're looking to do a smoky pattern or a smoky eye, I would use a darker brown than using black. I think black is too intense, too dark for glasses, especially if you have a thick frame like this. If you have a thinner kind of metal frame, you can definitely get away with wearing a little darker makeup. But if you're wearing, I know this is kind of the style right now, I've had these for years, but they're just really too dark and too big, and they magnify the eye anyway, so I just think it's going to be too much, personally. Now, if it doesn't matter to you, you like a dark eye, you go right to it, but I really don't suggest that if you're wearing kind of a thicker frame like this. Same thing with a heavy cat eye. One, you may not even see it, and two, it's just too much work for something that you may or may not see. It's too dark, and with your glasses, it's gonna kind of cover your eye in a way. So you may slightly see the cat eye, but you're not gonna see anything else. And I feel like you shouldn't want to darken the eye when you're wearing glasses. You want to enhance the eye when you're wearing glasses. So I really suggest that. Last thing is always use a eyeshadow primer. This is the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. You can't even tell what this is because it's missing the purple paint on it, but I pulled out my small one, so you can kind of see. I think now they make it in like squeeze bottles, but I use the Urban Decay primer potion on the eyes and at the bridge of the nose because it is going to mattify it, so it's not going to slide down. So that being said, let me move on to kind of what I suggest as in makeup. I'll do kind of a quick tutorial for you guys. This is my Naked 2 Urban Decay eyeshadow palette, and some of you may have this, some of you don't, but if you don't, definitely need to go get it. The original is just as good. I love both palettes, but I'm going to be using Tease right here, and this is more of a khaki, non-luster kind of color, and I'm going to be using my MAC 252 brush. This is just a flat shader brush, and I'm just going to pack that right onto the eye. I'm going to be using this mirror real quick, and you're just going to put that all over the eye. And what's really great for this look is that we're not going to really be using a highlighter for this because I think, again, a highlighter tends to be kind of metallic-y and kind of sheer or glittery. So I think it's just going to kind of make it look too greasy as the day goes on. If you are insistent on wearing a highlighter, there is a color, Foxy, that's in here, and this does not have a luster to it, but it's very light. If you really need to be wearing a highlighter, I really would use something like that. I wouldn't use like Max Rice Paper or anything like Max Nylon. It's just too shimmery. It's going to fall, and you're just going to be really disappointed with the way it ends up looking with glasses. For the crease, I'm going to be using Max. This is Max Corduroy. And this is a really soft brown. I wouldn't use anything dark like as in Embark. Let me pull that out. I don't know if you can really tell the difference between the two. This is Corduroy, this is Embark. Corduroy is a very soft brown. If you do have a thinner frame, you could probably get away with using this Embark, but the good thing with matte colors is that you can tend to layer them. So I would use this, and I would use kind of a fluffy brush. This is just e.l.f.'s eyeshadow brush, and I would kind of hit the crease with that. Again, you can layer this if you're kind of going out. I tend to keep it really simple because I don't necessarily wear my glasses when I go out. I try to avoid that at all costs, but I know some people can't really help that. So, again, I would use this and just kind of layer through. And with the eyeshadow primer anyway, you're going to be able to do that. So, as an eyeliner, I would suggest something that isn't like a typical pencil liner because it tends to be kind of creamy and it will slide right out of the eye. So I would suggest something like this e.l.f. liquid liner. I know if y'all watch any of my other videos, this really shows itself all the time. What other thing I would use is either cake liner. I really love, this is Alexis Vogel cake liner. You can kind of see the pan, but it's right in this area right here. And all you do is use an angled brush and you wet it and you apply it on. This is alright for beginners. I would have used this cake liner before I would use something like the liquid liner like this, just because it's a little easier to work with. So I'm just going to add a little bit of liner. Like I said, nothing too big, nothing a cat eye, but if you would like a little extra, I would just use a little bit of a flick of a liner instead of a big, intense breakdown. So I'm going to apply some of this real quick. And again, since we're not doing really a cat eye, I'm just kind of having to apply that right on the lash line. like I said, if you want anything a little more dramatic, I would suggest just a little flick of the line. I wouldn't do anything too big, just flick it out, just because, like I said, you're probably not going to see it. It's going to be a little too dark anyway, and you're just going to, like, darken the eye, and I think glasses already tend to do that, especially if you have frames like I do. I mean, they really darken up the face, so I think that if you do anything too intense, it's just going to take away from kind of what you're trying to do. Kind of make it a little flirty, not too intense. As in mascara, use anything. I wouldn't curl the lashes. I have longer lashes anyway, so they would just hit the glass if I were to curl them. So I'm just using Ulta's Lash Icon just because this is here. So, but you can use anything to kind of apply. And I'll put a little at the bottom. I wouldn't put too much. Like I said, again, nothing too dark. But I kind of break down in the base of the bottom. And as you can already see, it's already kind of enhanced the eye. I think this look is perfect for a thicker frame. If you have something a little thinner, go for it. Add a little extra eyeshadow in there into the crease. But you don't even need to use the crease, to be honest with you, as long as you're using kind of a nice color. If you do not have the Naked 2 palette and you couldn't use Tease, and you have the Naked palette, I would mix your Buck and your Naked. The reason why these two don't work for me necessarily is it's exactly up to my skin tone, so I'd rather just not wear any than, apply that. But if you have a lighter skin tone or you don't have the Naked 2 palette, you mix those two, Buck and Naked. As in blush, again, nothing too shimmery. I have two suggestions. I've pulled them out already. This is MAC's Pink Swoon. Really nice bright pink. This is good for going out in the day, especially because it's a nice kind of floral pink. And something kind of everyday. I love this color. This is my favorite color of all time. This is MAC's Harmony. I've had this for years, and you can see that I'm hitting the pan, so it's just on the outside. But this is kind of like a bronzy, kind of, or not necessarily orangey, but it's kind of a bronzy look. I think if you have a lighter skin tone, this is not the one for you. This will definitely muddy you up. So if that were to be the case, I would use something like Desert Rose. Desert Rose is a little bit of a lighter pink, but this is great for all skin tones. So this is kind of like a darker option. So I would skip the bronzer in all cases. So I'm going to be using MAC's Harmony because, like I said, I love this one. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of that with a big fluffy brush, because you don't really need a contour, because it doesn't really matter. Your glasses kind of contour. I know this sounds crazy, but your glasses, I think, kind of contour for you. So you really want to apply more to the apples of the cheeks. As in gloss, lipstick, favorite thing about glasses, believe it or not, is since so much attention is kind of focused on the eye, I think you can definitely play up the lips. So wear a red lip if you want to. Don't if you don't, but I always tend to stick to something really simple like this. This is MAC's lip, I think it's lip gloss, Plush Glass in Fulfilled, and it's not really this bright, but it's really nice and sheer, because I like to keep my makeup very natural under my glasses, just because I tend to do this for an everyday look. I don't necessarily go out when I wear my glasses, so this is a good option. If you're wanting something a little more intense, a little more bright, like I used before, this is Revlon's Matte and Fabulous Fig. This is the most beautiful brick red I've ever seen in my life, and I think it almost makes you look a little more retro when you use this, so I really, really love that. So kind of two options there. Anyway, that is it. I hope you guys found this useful and helpful. Again, always comment down below, and please subscribe. I know that my next video is going to be a kind of drugstore, Sephora, e.l.f. haul, and that will be uploaded later in the week as well. So definitely keep in tune for that. So thanks you guys so much. Have a great day. Bye.